Okay guys, hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing one of my last book hauls from the US. That's right, I haven't even hauled all the books that I got in the US in August because I got so many flippin' books. So yeah, the next haul of books I'm doing is all the books that I got from Borders and BAM, which is Books and Music, and they are new books that I bought completely at their list price, and I cried a bit, but it was fine because these are all books that I've wanted to read for a long time. So when I went to America, I was like, I'm gonna get these books because no one will stop me from getting the books that I have been dying to read, but that have really expensive shipping to Japan. I will buy them here, I will lug them back to Japan, and I will read them there, and no one can stop me. And that's how I got these books. Okay, so the first book on my list is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. A man rose up in a rebellion, but he failed, and the land has been ruled by darkness and mist ever since then, and basically the people are squashed under the ruling class until a street urchin develops the powers of allomancy, which they describe as being the powers of a Mistborn. So I don't know any more than that, except that it says a heroine urchin, which leads me to believe that the main character is a woman, which will be very, very interesting. My fiance has read this book and he said that he quite enjoyed the powers of magic in this series, so I'm really looking forward to that. I found out after I bought the book that Brandon Sanderson is a bit of a dick, so I'm less enthused about that. So the next book I have been meaning to read forever. I am a lover of classic sci-fi, and whenever people talk about classic sci-fi, it always comes up. A Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert A. Heinlein. And in this book, a man from Mars comes to Earth and he teaches humanity about a lot of things. Water sharing, what is love, how far removed from humans on Earth you have to be still considered human. I just know that I have been meaning to read this book forever. It is such a classic and I just am in love with the cover. It basically looks like a mermaid, but I don't think that's what it's about at all. So I am intrigued and I am really looking forward to it. Have any of you guys read it? Let me know down in the comments if you loved this book. I'm really looking forward to it. So next up I bought The Boar by Bryan Catling. This has been on my list for a while as kind of like just one of those reads that people really have trouble categorizing. It's kind of gothic, kind of spooky, kind of new weird is how it's been categorized. And the last book I read that was new weird was The Core of the Sun, which dealt with chili peppers up the vajayjay, so new weird, here we come. So in this book, it is definitely weird from the beginning. In one of the first chapters, a woman dies and her lover makes her bones into a bow and arrow, which if that is not the coolest setting ever, I don't know what is. I thought this would be an easy read. I'm currently reading it about a third of the way through. It is kind of a struggle, so I will definitely be wrapping this up in November. So far, so good, if a bit bizarre. It's kind of like a bizarre Heart of Darkness, Poisonwood Bible, and I'm not sure if I'm in love with it yet. We will see what happens. Another new book that I bought was Stolen by Lucy Christopher. This follows a 16-year-old girl named Gemma who is basically stolen from the Bangkok airport by her captor Ty and taken to the Australian outback. I thought it was going to be a very physical thriller dealing with entrapment, but it actually turned out to be a more character-driven novel and much more of a psychological thriller. So if you're looking for that, I really recommend it. I talked about it more in my October wrap-up part 2, so if you would like to learn more about this book, go check it out. I will leave that linked down below as well. Moving on, this still has the sticker on it, bad me. This is one of those junk food books that like they put near the checkout that they just like ensnare you. How am I not gonna buy this book? Like, it's called Jane Eyre Laid Bare, the classic novel with an erotic twist. So I'm a huge fan of Jane Eyre. I'm a huge fan of erotic twists, usually. So yeah, I thought that I would just give this a go. I don't know more than that, honestly. I'm just really intrigued by the blurb. They got me. You got me. You got me. The next book is A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. I had heard a lot of really amazing things about this book on BookTube, and we follow two boys who are reunited after their separation in childhood, but while one boy is ecstatic to be reunited, the other boy is not. And the reason why he's not excited to be reunited slowly starts to unravel. And I heard that this has really great rep for ADHD and also queer elements, and I think that I'm going to be really either in love with this book or have a lot of problems with it because I have heard different reviews. People either seem to really fall on the spectrum with it, like they love it or they have a myriad of problems with it. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I just think that the cover is also amazing and also the title is amazing. So I have really high hopes for it and I can't wait to read it. If you've read it, let me know, where do you fall on that spectrum? Love or has a lot of problems, like the Problem Child book. Okay, and the next book I bought purely because I didn't know that the author had written anything else, and it is I Am the Messenger by Markus Zusak. Markus Zusak wrote The Book Thief, which is one of my favorite books of that historical fiction time period, and in this book we follow an underage cab driver who becomes a random messenger for somebody, and I believe the stakes are pretty high. So I don't know more than that. I believe it is a thriller. I bought it, like I said, purely because it is Markus Zusak, and I think that the way he wrote The Book Thief was amazing. And I'm not going to try and compare them, but I want to see what else he can produce because that was an amazing book, and I'm hoping that this will be as well. So the next book on my list is The First Time She Drowned by Carrie Kletter. In this book, we follow a teenage girl who has just spent 2.5 years in a mental institution, but now it is her 18th birthday, and she comes out and has to deal again with her unhealthy relationship with her mother, which landed her in the institution in the first place. And I think it really explores mental health and whose version of reality is the truth, and what reality is more real, the one that you have spent the time imagining or the one that actually happened. So I think that this book has really intrigued me from the first time that I heard about it. I do really like books about mental health, and especially about the way they explore family dynamics, because that is something that runs in my own family. I think that I will be really into this book. I think I need to be in a really solid mind frame for reading it, possibly in the summer or a really happy time, because I feel like this book might stress me out, but I feel like it's a really important thing to read about and to explore. And if it is really good, it's a really strong book to recommend to others. And next up on this list is a book that I think is the opposite and is just going to be a bunch of fun, and it is Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson, which is a reimagining of Peter Pan. And who does not love a reimagining of Peter Pan? Am I right? So in this book, we follow 15-year-old Tiger Lily who falls in love with Peter. It follows her side of the story about their relationship blooming and blossoming in kind of this paradise, and then Wendy Darling comes, and what happens to their relationship and what happens to Tiger Lily after Peter leaves. So I think that this is going to be a really interesting look at Peter Pan. I've never read it from Tiger Lily's perspective before, and I have heard great things about this. Okay, so next up is a book I've been dying to read, and it is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. So this is a reimagining of 1001 Nights. An 18-year-old caliph takes a new wife every night and then has her tell him a story, and when he is displeased, he ends up having her executed. So we follow Shahrazad, whose best friend has just been executed by the Sharif. So she decides to get revenge, and she becomes his next wife with the intent of killing him. But she is not killed, and she survives to the next morning. And the story goes from there. So I'm really interested in this. I have been wanting to read this since it came out, and I have been waiting to get my hands on a copy because I just love both this cover and also the other cover with the cutouts. So I'm really, really looking forward to this one, and I think that it will just be amazing, and I can't wait. And how beautiful is that cover? Like, oh my god, just the colors. The colors. Gorgeous. Okay, so the next book I got has been on my list also for a very long time. All of the books on this list have been on my list for a really long time. I basically went in with a shopping list of books to these stores and was like, show me what you got. In between the two, I chose the book that was the cheapest at either store and I bought it. So yeah. This is 4th of July Creek by Smith Henderson. This book had nothing but amazing reviews, and we follow a social worker who discovers an 11-year-old nearly feral, very undernourished boy, and he is trying to get the boy help, but he comes face to face with the boy's very disturbed end-of-times father named Jeremiah, and then the FBI get involved and it becomes a huge deal. And this book takes place in the wilderness of Montana, and this book is kind of resonating with me. It seems a little bit like echoes of My Absolute Darling, which I freaking loved. So I have really high hopes for this one, and I think it is going to be a really gripping thriller, I hope. And yeah, if you've read this, let me know which of these should I read first, because this whole list is like just a deluge of books that I am so ready and so keen to read. Oh my gosh. Okay. So everyone knows this book. It is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and it is the gorgeous hardcover edition with black pages, and how can I not want this copy? So I have not actually read this, but I have been meaning to read it forever, as well as Crooked Kingdom, which comes next. I'm not going to go into it. Everyone knows what Six of Crows is about, and I can't wait to read it. So that finishes up my haul. Please let me know. Oh my gosh, all my books are falling over and my battery's dying. Oh my god. Ah! So yeah, let me know which of the books you think I should read first, which of the ones are absolutely amazing, mind-blowing, yada yada yada. And yes, I absolutely look forward to talking to you in the comments. Please let me know, and I will chat to you down there. Have an absolutely lovely day. Toodles!